Have you ever thought about how much a nation can change in just one lifetime? Well, that's pretty much the story of modern China, an economic superpower where the people literally worked to reshape their own destiny. So today we're going to dive into that incredible 40-year transformation. Okay, let's just start with this. It's a pretty staggering contrast. Only 40 years ago, a staggering 90% of China's population lived in poverty. Today, it's the second largest economy on the entire planet. Just let that sink in for a second. That kind of change is almost unheard of. So the big question is, how on earth do they do it? To figure that out, we're going to take a journey through 6 key chapters. We'll meet the modern superpower it is today, dig into its unbelievable economic transformation, look at its ancient roots, explore its unique culture, see its place in the world, and finally, take a little peek into the future. All right, first up, let's really try to get our heads around the sheer scale of modern China. Because honestly, when we talk about this country, we're absolutely talking about a nation of superlatives. It all starts with the people, over 1.4 billion of them, making it the second most populous country in the world. But here's what's really interesting. 61% of that massive population now lives in cities. I mean, this isn't just some number on a page. We're talking about one of the largest human migrations in history, from rural farms to sprawling cities, and it all happened in just a few decades. And these numbers, they really paint a picture of a total giant. A GDP of over $17 trillion. That's just massive economic might. It's the third largest country by land area, with its capital in Beijing. But for me, the most telling number here is the median age, just 38 years old. That points to this young, incredibly dynamic workforce that really became the engine for all of China's growth. And, that economic power, it's not just some abstract number. It's in the stuff we use pretty much every day. We're talking about brands like the e-commerce giant Alibaba, the tech powerhouse Huawei, and of course, the social media phenomenon that is TikTok. They're all global household names that came straight out of China. So all this scale, all this economic might, it all brings us back to that one big question, right? How did China go from widespread poverty to a global powerhouse so incredibly fast? This is really the heart of their modern story. It really all hinges on a few key moments. So, after the People's Republic was founded back in 1949, the most critical turning point came in 1976. That's when a new leader, Deng Xiaoping, came to power, and he kicked off a series of reforms that would literally change everything, not just for China, but for the whole world. Now, Deng's plan was deceptively simple, but it was absolutely revolutionary. First up, economic reform. He basically just unleashed the productivity of farmers in factories. But the second part, and this was the real long game, was education reform. He made 9 years of school mandatory and free. This was a massive undertaking, all designed to build a skilled workforce from the ground up. He knew that real progress wasn't just about building factories, it was about building minds. And the result of that investment? Just look at this. 40 years ago, only about 2/3 of the population could read and write. Today, it's nearly 100%. You could argue that this single leap in literacy is the entire foundation for China's economic miracle. But, to truly understand modern China, you have to look back. And I mean, way back. We're talking about a continuous history that stretches over 5,000 years. And you really can't talk about Chinese history without talking about one man, Confucius. He was a philosopher, and his ideas about ethics, family, and society, well, they basically became the bedrock of Chinese culture, and they're still incredibly influential today. His philosophy kind of boils down to 2 big and actually pretty contradictory ideas. The first was this belief in the inherent goodness of people. He taught that a good society is built on a shared moral code, and, this is crucial, a deep, deep respect for your elders. This focus on family is so powerful that it's the root of traditional ancestor worship. But then, here's the other side of the coin. Confucius also believed that people are fundamentally selfish, that if you leave them to their own devices, they might hurt others to get ahead. So, his solution? Society needs strict laws and pretty severe punishments to keep order. And you can draw a straight line from that ancient thinking right to modern China's legal system, which has some of the harshest penalties in the world for crimes like corruption. All right, so let's pull on that thread a little more and dive into the cultural fabric, looking at the beliefs and traditions that make up daily life in China today. If you look at the religious landscape in China, it's pretty unique. As you can see here, over half the population says they don't have any formal religion. This has actually led to a common saying that in modern China, business is the biggest religion. It really reflects that intense focus on economic progress we were talking about earlier. Okay, so now let's get into something that's a cornerstone of pretty much every culture: weddings. What's it like when people get married in China? A lot of the traditions will actually feel pretty familiar, but with a unique twist. The color red is everywhere. It symbolizes luck and happiness. You've got the groom formally asking the bride's parents for permission, and even a custom of him carrying his bride to the car. It's this really cool blend of ancient custom and modern romance. And yeah, just like in a lot of other cultures, the send-off involves tears and throwing rice for good luck. Okay, let's zoom out a bit now from culture to geopolitics. Because China doesn't exist in a bubble, it's right in the center of a super complex web of global relationships. I mean, to really get a sense of China's spot in the world, you just have to look at its neighbors. It shares a border with 15 different countries. We're talking global powers like Russia and India, all the way to unpredictable states like North Korea. Managing all of those diverse and, let's be honest, often tense relationships is a constant geopolitical balancing act. But maybe its most complex relationship is with the United States. And this phrase, man, just sums it up perfectly. In the political arena, they're often rivals, clashing over global influence. But when it comes to trade, they are deeply, deeply connected partners. It's a tense, pragmatic relationship that really defines a lot of the 21st century. All right, let's start to wrap this up by looking at China as a destination and what the future might hold for this ancient yet incredibly modern nation. It's really no surprise that tourism there is booming. We're talking 80 million people visiting every year. They come to see timeless wonders like the Great Wall and the Forbidden City, but they also come to experience the totally futuristic skyline of Shanghai and the surreal, almost avatar-like mountains of Zhangjiajie. And that really brings us to our final thought here. A nation with a 5,000-year past has completely remade itself in just 40 years. It just leaves us with this huge question: what will the next 50 years bring for China, and of course, for the rest of the world? Thanks for joining us to think about it.